Okay. I'm going to wait a few minutes so that we can get set up. Okay. Welcome, everybody. Good to be back. It's going to hang out just for a few minutes. As you're hopping on here, just let me know where you're watching from. Again, I'm going to go over all this with you, but we're going to have fun tonight. All right. And we are, hold on, almost there. All right, we're good. Okay. Welcome, everybody. It is so nice to be back. I missed you. It's been a while. But you know what? Happy 2022. We made it. We made it. I got to say, I've been thinking, it's so funny because I've never met any of you and I probably will never will, but I do hope to see if any of you are in New York. It'd be really fun to connect sometime. So please just let me know. And let me know where you're watching from, because there's nothing better than community. Again, we have an audience and a community from all over the world. So I hope you brought some of your questions. We're going to be talking a lot about getting back to school. You know, our kids are getting a little bit anxious now. I know this time of year, we're finishing up the holidays. We're in that final long stretch now of the dead of winter, going all the way through till spring break. So again, super excited to see you. Again, please share your name, where you're watching from, and let's get this started. Okay, so for those of you who are tuning in for the first time, who don't know me, I'm going to do a little bit of an intro of who I am, and then I'm going to share a little bit about not just myself, what I do, and I'm going to give some good tips and advice for not just your kids, but for you as parents. So my name is Jake Sussman, and I am a dyslexia and ADHD change maker on an unstoppable mission to give kids around the world a voice and change and challenge the way that we reach and communicate to the neurodiverse community. Okay, that is my life mission. Okay, and I run a Facebook Live show. Thus, here we are today. I am a speaker. I spoke at the International Dyslexia Association's global conference twice. I love it. They're such a great organization. Speak at schools around the country, representing the child that is forgotten in classroom, who's not being reached, because we all know, teachers, there's at least one child in your class that isn't being reached. I was one of those kids. I know all of your kids were one of those kids. And that's the child who we want to stand up and have a voice and to finally learn from. So I speak on that. And I'm the founder of one of the largest mentoring programs for neurodiverse kids at Superpower Consulting. Our Facebook is Superpower Mentorship. You can feel free to check us out. I love model trains. If your kids like train sets, let me know, because I got a really cool one and I'll definitely be posting more pictures about it soon. I play the piano. I was never taught how to play the piano. I taught myself by my auditory mind, and we'll go into that too, about using what was once a disability as an ability and taking upon those strengths. And I'm a triathlete. I like really crazy sports. So anyway, that's a little bit about myself. And I'm going to do my best to answer your questions. So let's do this. Hey guys, welcome. All right, cool. All right. So I'm going to kick us off with the thing that started this all. Back in 2019, I premiered a video that got a lot of attention on social media, enough for me to quit my job randomly. And it kind of kicked off this crazy journey of reaching and working with kids from all over the world. This poem is called The Forgotten Child, and I'm excited to share it with you. So let's do this. I kindly ask you to shut your eyes so you can fully understand the story that has left me so traumatized. Imagine yourself as the child that always smiled. You were wild and beguiled until the day you were profiled. This is the story of the forgotten child. Now, what I am about to tell you will truly make your stomach churn, they said. I have major concern, Mr. and Mrs. Your child simply can't learn. The child was labeled disabled. He was told face to face that he should stop his chase to a higher educational place because he couldn't read any book in the bookcase. This is an absolute disgrace. Those words should never come out of anyone with a knowledge base. From that point on, he was taken out of the classroom all day long, from homeroom to 3 hours past eating in the lunchroom. He became paranoid, full of anxiety and scared because he was told he was impaired. It felt like nobody cared. He was misunderstood as a result of educators thinking he was no good. He just needed someone to think that he could. You see, negative labels are destructive, counterproductive, and obstructive. Now, I'd like to ask you to please open your eyes to some surprise. That forgotten child is standing before all of you guys. He defied the lies of this public educational enterprise. You see, what they didn't know was that this forgotten child had an epic thirst for knowledge. He refused to acknowledge, you will never go to college. He took those words and turned them from frustration to motivation. He was lacking that academic foundation, so his parents pulled him out of this cultivation they called public education. Let me bring something to rouse. Just imagine your academic journey like the construction of a house. Without the proper support, excuse me, that house will fall short. He was finally put in a place where his mind was no longer a disgrace. It was a place that built his academic base as strong as an iron case. They saw him for everything he got. This isn't no school of thought. It is something that the public educational system simply did not. And it was the first time that the forgotten child actually smiled since the day he was profiled. Now, let me mention one of the most notable individuals in all of mankind with a mind that was also defined like mine. Let's take someone like Albert Einstein, a man of credibility that had a learning disability. He was lacking much valuability despite educators' much accredited, but that didn't stop Al's life journey to discovering the theory of relativity. So take a minute while I spit some poetry. What's the difference between you and every person the eye can see? Truth is, there's nothing, because each and every one of us have our own unique ability. Einstein said it perfectly, that everybody is a genius. But if we judge a fish by its ability to climb a tree, it will live its whole life thinking that it is stupid. Don't you see? A wise man once told me that the power comes from the young people knowing that they could change the world. Don't ever give up your shot. Your mind is all you've got. It's time we change this public educational melting pot, turning our minds into a robot. You get my gist? In this world craving to coexist, it's time that we work with the kids that are missed, with those who fit the mainstream schools perfectly, and then those who learn differently. Together, I insist. There you go. Well, I have to say, that's not just my story, my friends. Okay? I don't know about you, but that story is your story, your kid's story. All of us have a forgotten child in us that's just like, it's craving to come out, craving. But society wants to keep it down. They don't understand us, those who think differently, the neurodiverse minds. The funny thing, change, real change, comes by those who look at the world differently, those who will look at a problem and change it and find a solution. That is change. And the change comes not by those who are neurotypical, but by those who are neurodiverse, by those who will look at a lamp a whole new way and revolutionize it. That is the neurodiverse mind. And that is the mind of your kids. Oof, just pumps me up every single time. So I really encourage you, for those of you that are tuning in here, okay, what did you think? Let me know. This is a chance, this is an opportunity for you to share, because let me tell you something. Sharing, you don't realize how many other parents are watching this right now that are going through the same challenge that your child is going through. Maybe your kids will become friends from all over the world. I encourage you to please share your story. That's what it's all about. So let me tell you what I've been up to, because it's been a wild ride over the past 8 months. To be honest, it's been rough. I've been struggling a little bit. I've been stuck in my head, and having ADHD, we hyper-focus on the smallest things. And for those of you who may not know what hyper-focusing is, it's a legit superpower that comes only with people with ADHD. It's where space and time doesn't exist. Ask yourself, have you ever, if your child is playing video games, have you ever called on them and they just don't answer? Or they'll be playing on something and it's been playing all day long, but all of a sudden it's been 5 hours, but they think it's been only an hour? That is hyperfocus. And let me tell you something. It's a superpower, but we have to learn how to control it, because oftentimes we can hyperfocus on the negative things too. Doubting yourself. For me, growing up with learning and attention challenges, I'm constantly haunted by my childhood growing up in school. I said it in the poem. And tell me about your kids too, but frankly, being told that I would never go to college, being told that I would always struggle with communication skills, having to prove myself all the time, it lit a fire in me, but I want it to be perfect. Oftentimes, our kids are going through these challenges, and yes, the adversity that they go through now will make them stronger. It will make them stronger because they're going through it at a younger age, but it's a real thing, right? Now, I ask you, do you or any of your kids struggle with this? Let me know. Because in life, and this is a big theme for 2022 that I really want you to take in. I want you to own this with your family and with your kids and with yourself. 2022, a blank slate, a blank canvas, and we're the artist. We could draw whatever we want. It's our year to own. But what did 2021 teach me? Is that we need darkness to see the light. Now, what do I mean by that? It's powerful, okay? Have you ever lit a match in light during the daytime? You don't see anything. If I were to turn all the lights in this room and light a match, you wouldn't know. But if I turned off all of the lights and lit the same match, it'll light up the entire room. What does that mean? What is that teaching us? What it's teaching us is that we need the darkness around us. The darkness has to be there. It's a dark world out there, my friends, but it's not going away, which means that our job as parents and as educators, as leaders, is to bring out the light, to ignite the light in our kids, to shine bright in the darkness around them, okay? Because as we're fighting for our kids' IEPs, right, our kids are being constantly misunderstood, not by their teachers, but also by their peers. We're going to bring out that light, and we're going to do that by fueling up their confidence, by helping them understand what their true strengths are. Okay, that's a big one. Remember, we're going to ignite the light in the darkness, in their own little world. We're going to let that little flame shine bright, knowing that they're not alone, because they're not alone. I was in their shoes. So many other young adults have been in their shoes. I know the path is foggy. Believe me, I know the path is foggy, but they're going to get through it. Now, how are we doing? Give me some questions. Let's go. Let's go. Welcome, everybody. Tom, how you doing? Michelle, nice to see you. Candace, Send them my way. Oh yeah. Shout out to Thomas. Thomas was one of my tutors in college, and he changed my life. Really changed my life. Thomas, thank you so much for doing what you do, and for being a role model for me in college, helping me navigate a mainstream school. You're great. Thank you. So, okay, let's go into a little bit about navigating this coming school year. Okay. A few things. First of all, this is going to go for your kids. I'm going to mention just a few things. Okay. And if you have more questions, we can talk about it. Okay. Number one, and I'm obsessed with it, but it's one of the most important pieces of awareness that one can have as our kids navigates challenge. Now, that is your outlet. We all have them. We all have outlets. Okay. You as parents have them. I got them. Our kids even have them. A lot of times they're video games, right? But those are still outlets. We want to help our kids identify what their unique outlets are. Okay. But I want to take this a step further. And I encourage you, if your kids play video games, let me know what video games they play, because I can help you identify pieces about your kids that, like, hints that comes out in the unique games that they play. Okay. So please don't hesitate to post what games they play, what different types of outlets that they have. I can help you identify and draw connections between their outlets. This is really cool because there's a lot of insight that outlets can show our kids. For example, okay, let's say our kids like, one of our kids like Legos, race car movies, Mario Kart video games, and Sour Patch Kids. Okay, random thing, random, but there is nothing random. Okay, what can that teach us about this child? Well, we know that this child must love action, right? Must like, if they like Legos, probably likes things that are stimulating, right? That are hands-on, right? But then what about Sour Patch Kids? Is there a connection with Sour Patch Kids? Is it random? Maybe not. I don't know. Well, obviously it's not random. Okay. What is Sour Patch Kids? It's sour. What do all of his outlets have in common? Stimulation. Sour candy is pretty stimulating. Have you ever stepped on a Lego? That's really stimulating, right? All of that is stimulation, which must mean perhaps this child not only likes things that are stimulating, but maybe that's his ADHD right there, right? So we'd want to find outlets and activities that are stimulating for him. That isn't just him sitting still. Maybe he wants to interact when reading a book. Maybe we ask questions of reading a book. Remember, giving you examples of why looking at what our kids are interested in can paint unique insight to help us understand them from a bigger picture. Okay. So for kids, you kids out there that are watching this, parents, get your kids. Okay. Find your outlets. You know what you like. You love them for a reason. Ask yourself why. Ask yourself, what is it about these outlets do I like? Okay. For me, model trains, piano, and triathlons. Okay. Michelle said audiobooks and movies and storytelling. Nice. Okay. Think about what that is. Auditory. Okay. That's big right there. I'm not a visual learner. I need to hear it. If I hear it, it's a movie playing in my head. It's everything. All right. But unfortunately, when I was in 4th grade, the teachers wouldn't see that. They just saw my behavioral problem. And I was kicked out of class every single day during independent reading time because they refused to look at the bigger picture as to why was I behaving the way I was. If only they knew that I was an auditory learner. If only, but instead they labeled me a behavioral problem. How many of your kids are labeled a behavioral problem by school? Hey, Dad, how are you? How many? Let me know. I was. We got to have them wake up to the fact that our kids are way more than a behavioral problem because there's a reason why they're misbehaving. Right? Okay. Rant over. Kids, it's okay to feel the way you feel. Okay? It's okay to feel the way you feel. You can't compare. You can't compare. Don't compare yourself to your friends. That's unrealistic. Why? Because everyone has a brain, but no one learns the same. Not even if you're labeled dyslexic or if you're not. It doesn't matter. All of your friends learn differently. Everyone, even twins, everyone learns. If you go out there and you find me two people that learn exactly the same, let me know. It's impossible. Okay. Don't compare. So it's okay to feel the way you feel. It's okay to be frustrated. It's okay to be down and annoyed, right? And sad, but it's also okay to feel good about yourself sometimes. It's okay to finally look at yourself in the mirror. I know you go to all these, meetings, you get taken out of the class all the time. I know it's weird and sometimes embarrassing, right? But you know what that's allowing you to do? It's allowing you to launch in a rocket ship. Okay, because no one has the same way they learn. You learn in a very unique way, and because of that unique way is what's going to make you successful. Okay, that's a big one. So again, it's okay to feel the way you feel. You don't have to be perfect all the time. It's okay to feel sad sometimes. It's okay to be frustrated. I used to drop on the floor every single time I picked up a book to read, feeling like I was going to throw up. Oh, my brother just joined. What's up, Max? Right? Candace, I'm going to answer your question in a minute, okay? Candace just asked, Kylie is here watching with me too. She is asking, what are some best practices for overcoming back to school anxiety? Okay, I'm going to answer that in a minute, okay? Remember, okay, actually, this is going to the next part about this, okay? I know that it's scary to go back to school. I know that it's scary. And I know that when it comes to going back to school, you're being faced with a lot of challenges, like friends, your peers. You're maybe faced with a teacher that you may not understand, constantly having to explain yourself, right? Something that you can tell yourself is repeat after me, okay? Repeat after me. I'm smart. I am capable. And nothing will hold me back. I'm smart, I'm capable, and nothing will hold me back. That's right. Because again, no one learns the same, right? You learn in a brilliant way. And that is what it's all about. Okay. So again, I appreciate that question. And if you do have more, we're going to go through it all. Okay. Okay, next is don't be afraid to ask for help, okay? This goes for a lot of you kids out there, especially you boys, all right? Don't be afraid to ask for help, seriously. It's not a weakness. Actually, the one that's willing and has the confidence to ask for help, and we'll talk about getting to asking for help, okay? But first, it's okay to ask for help because that's working smart. That makes you actually the smartest person in the room, okay? It's not weakness, it's actually a strength. What I had to do going into my school, I had to sit down with every teacher before every semester, and I had to practice telling them how I learned. I'll give you an example of what I said, okay? I would sit down with my teacher and say, hi, teacher. And by the way, this is not being a teacher's pet, okay? I'm not saying be a teacher's pet. I don't recommend being a teacher's pet. This is called you working smart. You working smart, okay? Now, hi, teacher. My name is Jake, and I just want to share a little bit about how I learn because I learn a little bit differently than some of my peers. Because I'm an auditory learner, again, everyone's going to have their own unique way of doing it, okay? What I said that worked was that I need accommodations of someone who is blind. Now, I can see fine, but that means I need everything on audio. So in this class, especially during literature in LA, right? How can I be the most successful in class? How can we work together? And by the way, parents, this is really important. Because every other parent makes it about themselves. What's going to make someone want to work with your child is if we make it a team. Say we. How can we work together? Okay. And this goes both ways for the kids watching and also for the parents. Okay. And yes, it does depend on age. Okay. I don't expect a 7-year-old to go to the teacher and have this type of conversation, but we can improvise and there are ways that our 7-year-old can communicate to their teachers or to other authority figures, explaining a little bit when they get frustrated. Okay. So don't be afraid to ask for help. Welcome, everybody. Please let me know if you're just joining in for the first time, where are you watching from? And don't hesitate to also share a little bit about your story and about your child, because then I can help you with a more specific question related to your kid. Okay. Okay. So don't be afraid to ask for help. It's huge. It's huge. The next is, I know it may not seem like it, okay, but your child has a gift. That's right. You have a gift, okay? The gift is learning differently. The gift is looking at the world differently. I'm not talking about the pain associated to it. I'm not talking about the frustration, okay? That's the result sometimes. But the truth of the matter is, your gift is the ability to look at the world in a unique way. Because that is how real change comes, right? It's by looking at the world in a unique way. You have that gift, okay? The question is, how do we utilize it? It's actually the craziest thing. So I went to a mainstream school. So when my schooling, I was in for 6 years, my parents pulled me out of school. I went into a school that specialized in academic, in neurodiverse learners, okay? And I know that's not life. Like, there's not a special corner in the workplace, hopefully it'll be soon, of where, employees will get extensions on deadlines, they'll get fired, right? So I'm like to myself, I got to learn how to coexist with everyone else. So I went to a mainstream school. And, I was like, well, all my friends in 6th grade used to make fun of me. Is it going to be the same? That was one of my biggest pieces of anxiety going into school. Okay. Are they going to make fun of me? But what I found out was that because I learned differently, my friends came to me and asked for my perspective on their projects. And these are kids who don't have any learning differences. These are just normal kids, right? They asked me for my own perspective because of the way I look at the world, because of my learning difference. It was unbelievable, okay? So again, all of this takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, okay? It doesn't happen overnight. Now, your gift is a superpower. It is. It really is, okay? It really is. And the reason why I say superpower, and I know it's controversial in the space, but I will explain why. If anyone gives you a hard time about this, let me know, and this explanation should help you better understand why your kid's dyslexia and learning differences is a superpower, okay? Number one, every superhero goes through adversity. Every superhero that we know of, Superman, Batman, Spider-Man, Wonder Woman, I don't know, everyone else, right? That's not their true names, right? It's Clark Kent, Peter Parker. Clark Kent and Peter Parker both struggled when they were kids. Clark Kent was misunderstood and bullied when he was your kid's age. Then he had to embrace himself, right? Isn't that the story of your kids, right? What's that thing? Oh, that's a superpower. Your kids have a superpower. Okay, they may not be able to shoot lasers out of their eyes, but it's their brain. That's why. All right, moving on. I'm almost to parents, okay? I have tips for you parents, so hang in there, okay? This is important because we're talking about your kids first, then I'm going to talk about your parents, you as parents. All right. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again. Your kids need to repeat these affirmations before they go to school, okay? And I want them, when they get test anxiety, I used to do this all the time during test anxiety, when I was in an awkward social situation, or if I was made to feel uncomfortable in any way, or I was insecure in any way. I am smart, I am capable, and nothing will hold me back. Do I know who taught me that? My grandma. My grandma, who, as a woman growing up, was misunderstood because she was the valedictorian of her school. But as a woman, she struggled, right? So she looked at herself in the mirror and she said, I am smart, I am capable, and nothing will hold me back. And that is why she became, well, my biggest role model, right? So repeat those words. I'm smart, I'm capable, and nothing will hold me back. Okay, now we're on to you parents. Do we have questions? I want to make sure I got everything. Okay, so Megan asked a really great question, okay? Really good question. Okay. How do we balance the need to decompress after school, but still be a contributing member of the family? No, not ton of chores, but understanding we are all part of the household and we need to pitch in to run smoothly. Okay, so the question is, how do we balance the need to decompress after school, but still be a contributing? Great family. You can ask my mom. I don't know if my mom's watching this. If she is, you got to give her some love on this one, because I was also kind of a nightmare growing up, right? For me, it was about the dishes. I had this thing of where I just always forget the dishes. I always forget, right? Okay, here's what I would suggest. It's all about timing, okay? Think about your kid's day for a minute, okay, Megan? Think about your kid's day. Now, they wake up, they go to school. Wake up, eat breakfast, go to school. What do they exercise? Maybe during gym? I don't know, right? Then they get home. I don't know if they play sports, but again, remember, if we want our kids, kids like to feel like that they are attributing to something, right? Kids like to feel that they're working towards a goal. So maybe an idea could be, well, we could do a point system, right? We can do, if we see, because we want to build a habit of doing it, right? Remember, we're starting habits. This isn't just doing chores. We want it to become a habit, right? So maybe if you do X amount of times in a row that you do a certain chore, you'll earn X. Work hard, earn the reward, right? And before all that happens, perhaps I'm a big advocate for our kids coming home and doing cardiovascular exercise, whether it's in the morning or after school, because that helps grounds us, especially with learning differences. It gets oxygen and blood flow in our bodies. When I don't exercise, I'm a mess. Okay. We have to cardiovascular exercise in particular. Okay. So again, we want our kids to let their energy out. Then routine is everything. So if they can spend a little bit and see that little gain, right, of a chore. Again, I don't know what specific chore you're talking about, but that's a really great example. And maybe the reward is video games at the end of the week for an extra hour. I don't know, right? We can brainstorm if you want, if you have some ideas. If you have, if you can share a little bit more specifics about your household and what the dynamic is like, I'll be happy to give more specifics, but I hope that was helpful. Okay. Let's see. Holly says, hi there on Long Island. I'm on Long Island too. Cool. My daughter is almost 10 in fourth grade and has dyslexia, dyscalculia, ADHD, and anxiety. Okay. She has been dreading going back to school for the last 5 days. She has been struggling with feeling different, having to work so hard all the time. Who else has a child that is going through the exact same thing? Give Holly some love for a minute, okay? Because Holly, let me tell you something. Not only is your daughter not alone, but I went through something similar. Thousands of kids are going through something very similar. And this is not undermining her feelings, but this is that she knows that there are so many other kids going into that school at the same exact time as her that are feeling the exact same way as her. But listen, that work hard. And she's in fourth grade. Okay. So this may be harder for understand, but again, we do have our 10-year-olds in our program. Look, we've worked with over 175 kids in 7 countries of mentoring. Okay. I do encourage, if any of your kids are open to working with either me or one of our mentors, we will work with them exactly on this. So let me know, and I'll be happy to give any discounts possible so that we can give your kids an opportunity to get access to a really cool mentor like me or like someone else. Not that I'm calling myself cool. I'm actually kind of lame, but anyway. So she's been struggling with feeling different and having to work so hard all the time. The very hard work that she's doing, it's the putting in the adversity now, and it really stinks. Okay. But that adversity that she's going through is the thing that's going to make her a stronger person. It's going to make her a stronger person. And it's what's going to make her successful, right? It's if you're doing twice the amount of, if you're working twice as hard now when everyone else isn't working as hard, guess whose brain is going to be stronger? Your brain's a muscle, right? So if you keep working your muscle more and more, it's going to become stronger and stronger. So she is working her brain a little bit harder than everyone else, but that very hard work is going to pay off later. I'm telling you. And you know what? I would love to connect her to one of our mentors who strong female mentor who's like in their 20s, right? Who went through something very similar that can help guide her through that. She's not a therapist, not a parent, right? Graduating from college, really cool. That can help guide your daughter through that. So let me know, Holly, seriously. Oh, look at that, Candace, right? That's what I'm saying. See, this is the power of storytelling, of sharing what's going on, because now we're building community. So don't stop sharing. This is so cool. I love it. Gosh, I missed all of you. This is great. Okay. Okay, parents, listen, this is very important. Okay. Don't be afraid to enter your kids' worlds. I can't tell you, I've spoken to hundreds of parents who most of them say they don't understand their kids' outlet. They don't get the video games. They don't get why they're on Roblox. They don't get this or that, right? I get that it's hard, right? I know they're doing a lot of things, but that very video game or that very outlet is the thing that is allowing your child to feel free. So if we can be invited into their world, now here's the cool thing, okay? What my focus is, I'm focused on teaching kids how to communicate and how to self-advocate. These are communication skills, okay? What causes your child to react versus respond, right? So if I were you, I would want to play dumb a little bit and have your child teach me how to play that game. Even if I have no idea what they're talking about, okay? It could go in and one or out the other, but they're practicing communicating something to someone that doesn't understand what they're doing. They're going to have to be doing this their whole life, explaining what they're doing or who they are or how they learn to someone who doesn't understand them, like a boss or a partner or a friend or a teacher, right? So it's all about practice in different ways, okay? And then again, we want to reward our kids as much as possible. When they work hard, there's the reward. When they work hard, there's a reward. And it's not that when they don't work hard, there's no reward, but we just want to help them understand that small wins build confidence, right? Small wins build confidence. That's it. So the smallest win, we want to highlight that. Okay. Let's see. And parents, if you have questions for me about your kids, in particular, about anything, doesn't have to necessarily be just about school, please ask, because I want you to imagine me like the older version of your kid. Okay. Really. Okay. What would you want to ask the older version of your child? What would you want to know? All right. So feel free to ask away. That's why we're here. And if you want to direct message me, if you don't want to share publicly, that's fine too. Okay. Okay. So we're going into the concept of reacting. Okay. I want to go back to, who was it? Was it Megan? Yeah. I want to go back to Megan for a minute, because Megan had a really good question about balancing the need to decompress after school, but still being a contributing member of the family, right? So a lot of times, if we forget, and I say we as kids who learn differently, right? If we forget to do something, right? Or let's say I forget to do the dishes, or let's say I leave crumbs on the counter, or let's say I don't make my bed or do this or that, right? A lot of times, most of the time, correct me if I'm wrong, but there's the reaction that follows. Mom, I hate you, mom. Like the freak out, right? Right? Do they really hate you? No way. No way. Right? But you know what's going on? Your child is reacting to something, right? Reacting versus responding, okay? So maybe that reaction of, honey, you forgot to do the dishes, or honey, you left crumbs all over the counter, is a reaction at themselves feeling like a failure, and it's coming out to you, okay? Remember, I believe that there's a reason for everything. We can't just take things with the face value. And by the way, the dads out there, dads really struggle with this, okay? If your husbands or your partners or anything have this, the men, right? Men have a hard time with the whole emotional intelligence thing, okay? So it's something that I'm sure has been sometimes a challenge, okay? But it's something that I do encourage you to work with dad, okay, to help him better understand that when your child is reacting, okay, there's a reason for it. And we have to better understand and better help them calm down. Whether that means go let out all your energy and punch a punching bag, or go let out all your energy, jump on a trampoline. By the way, trampolines are great for your kids, okay? Not the outside ones, but the inside ones, okay? Yeah, it just helps with the stability in the home a little bit, okay? There's a reason why your kids react the way they do. That's it. So anyway, that's what I got. Look, we are a blank slate right now, okay? We are launching into 2022. And I know, like what you're saying, a lot of our kids are freaking out, okay? But you know what? Have them look at themselves in the mirror. I know sometimes it's hard, but we are all in this together. Your kids are not alone. There are people out there that are ready to support them. And it's not that they're stupid or not capable. It's not that they can't do it. It's not that they are weak. They're actually the strongest ones out there. Do you want to know something? The biggest misconception with ADHD? Do I know the biggest misconception with ADHD? The biggest misconception with ADHD is that people with ADHD have a hard time focusing. You're saying, like, yeah, obviously. Well, it's actually the opposite. People with ADHD can focus better than most people. It's all about perspective, right? Don't look at it as a disability, okay? Those with ADHD can focus better than most people because of hyperfocus. Think about that. Kids with dyslexia, okay? It's the same thing. We can overcome adversity better than most people because we're doing it at an earlier age. It's preparing us for life. That's what school should be about. It's preparing us for life. Okay, so we got some comments and questions. I'm going to read them out, okay? So Braden asked a really good question. So Braden says, I have dyslexia, dysgraphia, and central auditory processing disorder. Okay, nice to meet you, Braden. I will graduate with math and economics bachelor's degrees next semester. Nice. That's sick. Congratulations. But I do not know if I should get a master's degree or get a job. I am worried about making the next big decision because of my disability and the fear of the next thing. How can I make this decision quickly without getting into my head? Whoa, that is such a great question, Braden, because let me tell you something. Let me ask you something. You can respond to this. You ever go to like a diner and like you like don't even know what to get? Do I get breakfast or lunch, right? Or if you're going late at night, do I get pancakes or I get like, an actual dinner, right? Or like mac and cheese, right? That decision making is something that I also struggle with sometimes, right? And it's a real thing, okay? So I just want you to know that it's not like there's something wrong with you. It's a real thing, right? When you have two great decisions. Now, okay, let's read it again. So you're going to graduate with math and economics. So cool. Okay. But you don't know if you should get a master's degree or get a job. Okay. Let me help you answer this question. I want you to look back at yourself. Okay. And I do this with a lot of my kids. All right. Where is this decision coming from? You wanting to go get your master's degree or go get a job? Okay. Is this decision coming from fear or is it coming from logic? I want you to ask yourself that question. Where is this coming from, Braden? Are you not wanting to go back to school because you're afraid, or because it's being strategic because maybe you need to get some more cash, right? Now, if you want to talk more about this, I'll be happy to, but I want you to ask yourself that in a serious way. Where is this resistance coming from? Not resistance, excuse me. Where is this hesitancy coming from? Okay. So if you want, reach out to me directly. I'll be happy to jump on a phone call with you and we can dissect it together and go through it. I hope that was helpful. Okay, Michelle. My kiddo resists or struggles with transitions, especially from a preferred audiobook to non-preferred online ones. Oh, yeah. Okay. So, by the way, funny story. It was my third grade report card, Michelle. And it was a 2-paragraph analysis of Jake Sussman. Okay. And this 2-paragraph analysis talked about my year and all that. 8 of those sentences talked about my behavioral problem, right? And the one on the very bottom line said that while Jake likes to read bizarre facts, nonfiction books, he needs to engage in more fictional books. I love nonfiction. It's the thing that ignites me. Okay. So I want to ask you, Michelle, what kind of books is your child interested in? Okay. And I also want to know, what are some of their interests? Okay. Because the reason why I say this is that transition is a real thing. Okay. Who wants to read a book they're not interested in the first place? Okay. But sometimes, depending on the book, there are ways that we can draw parallels of the boring book to something that your child is interested in. Okay. Now, I don't know because I don't know specifics. Again, give me a call, shoot me a message directly. I'll be happy to answer this question more in depth with you. Again, I'm here for all of you watching. Okay. All of you should reach out to me and ask me questions. Okay. But Michelle, that's a real thing. Okay. Like, no one wants to read a book that they're not interested in. That's a real thing. I mean, like, no one does. Okay. I always say, if your child is struggling with reading, I learned how to read by reading model train books because that was my passion. One of my mentees taught himself how to read by reading music lyrics because he was obsessed with Alicia Keys, and he's 10. He's 11 years old. Okay. Obsessed with Alicia Keys. So he printed out music lyrics and he was reading lyrics, and that taught him how to read. Words are words. What's the priority, right? So Michelle, reach out to me directly. Okay. Okay, I'm getting there. We're getting through. Okay. Megan did respond back to that question I had, which was, it usually surrounded by dinner. By the way, my freakouts happen around dinner too. Okay. My husband cooks. Nice. What does he like to cook? That sounds delicious. I do the dishes, and we ask one kid to set the table and the other to clear the table. The transition from screens to the table is awful. It results in a contentious dinner every single night. Okay. Pause. Pause. Okay. Screens before dinner is not a good thing. Has it ever worked? No, it's never worked. So let's not do it. Okay. Screens before dinner are not a good thing. Screens, I don't think, are a bad thing, but the timing around the screens is key. Okay. We also have the time it based off, is your child taking focusing medicine? Okay. And what games are they playing? Are they playing violent games, right? What kind of Roblox? If they're playing Roblox, or are they playing Minecraft? What are they playing? Because here's what happens. Okay. Here's what happens. Your kid, okay, your child is, let's say, I don't know if he has ADHD, but if they do, again, I'm talking ADHD big time here, but a lot of times this is with a lot of dyslexia, other learning and attention challenges here, but it's forced stimulation. When you're playing a video game, imagine you're at the ocean, okay, and you're walking in the shallow end. It's easy. But once you go deeper, it becomes harder to swim. Okay. But so when you're playing video games, that's forced stimulation. So when all of a sudden, when you're being forced to turn off, wait, I just have to save it. I just have to save the game. Oh my God. 20 minutes later, they're still playing because they're still in a state of hyperfocus and they don't want to get off. Then finally turn off the game. Now they hear you yelling or barking. And a lot of times the last word is a thing that sets them off. Okay. My mom had to work really hard with with her voice tone with me because I'm very sensitive to sound. I always heard mom yelling at me, but she wasn't actually yelling at me. So whenever I thought she was yelling at me, I would yell back. All right. I would suggest, okay, again, depending on what game they're playing, please, seriously, let's talk privately, Megan, because I think that there's a lot of details that we need to work out first, okay? But that transition is a real thing. Talk to them. I would say wait till after dinner. If they are going to play after school, either have them exercise first, get their tasks done, and then relax, okay? Then relax. Maybe put on an audio book while they're playing. A lot of kids can multitask like that, right? But video games before dinner never ends well. Okay, let's keep going. Do we have any other questions, my friends? This has been so much fun. I've really enjoyed this. It's been really great meeting you, really. So just so you know, I'm going to be doing this every single Monday at 8 o'clock. And if you would like me to talk about anything specific, let me know. I only know the things that I think is best, but your parents, right? I want to be able to bring you the best information that you can get. Okay. Remember, what separates me from everyone else out there? I've been in your kid's shoes and I'm going to give you some real talk. Okay. None of that nonsense. Okay. We're going to talk real for a minute. I don't care about all the other stuff. Okay. Because frankly, the mental health industry is a $300 billion industry and depression is still on the rise. So clearly something's not working. I'm breaking the rules. I'm breaking all the molds. Okay. That's why Superpower Consulting has become so successful. That's why we've been able to reach so many kids through mentorship, because we're not the professional. We're your kids, but just older, right? And we're teaching them how to communicate. School doesn't teach kids how to communicate at all, right? They just expect us to know how to navigate the next transition, which is also, transitions is a big thing. 40% of US college students drop out of school every year, and 30% of those are freshmen. I don't want that 30% to be one of your kids. Okay, so we want to empower them to know how to step into their own power as young individuals, but also knowing how to communicate and advocate for their needs to authority figures and to those who don't understand them. That's what I'm on a mission to do. So if you would like your kids to be part of this movement, okay, to empower them to have that voice, and for all of you asking questions, I'm telling you, right, your voice as mom isn't going to work. It's not. Okay. It's going to come from a third party person, whether it's a friend, a peer, or like a mentor. Okay. So that's the role that we're going to play with you. We believe in transparency, right? So it's the team, it's the family unit. That's what we're all about here. Okay. So let me know. Be happy to give you guys a discount. We'll figure it out, right? I'm rolling the cards as we go, right? I guess it's rolling the dice as we go. I don't know the term. Anyway. With that being said, I'm going to call it tonight. Okay. It's been so much fun talking to you. Next week, I'm going to be hopping on again. I'm going to bring on a really cool guest. So stay tuned for the reveal of who I'm going to be talking to. Again, hey, Deb, see you Wednesday. Yes. Don't hesitate again to reach out to me. It's why I'm here. It's what we're all about. We are a big community, and happy 2022. Okay. Let's go get it this year. We're going to bring some real change this year. We're going to bring some real change. All right. Have a good night, everybody. Nice talking to you.